Hi, Alan here, and I'm coming to you from my mobile office and command center in Emmett, Idaho. Been here for a few days. Probably leaving in a couple of days, going into Eastern Oregon, and I'm pleased to report that the first signs of autumn are arriving. Today, temperatures actually stayed in the 70s, and I'm pretty jazzed about that. It's pretty exciting. I'm reaching out today with a message because I want to share my thoughts on something real that got a lot more real about 6 months ago when it became personal. And what I'm talking about are diseases that can take us out and in the process cause years of suffering and reduced function. As an RV'er, I find that untenable. I'm 61 years old, and I fully want to have many, many more years in front of me. And I meet people who are in their 70s and even 80s who want to have many, many more years in front of them. In my case, it was a heart attack, and I got lucky. There's no permanent damage to my heart after suffering an ischemic event, reduced blood flow. I'm still dealing with the bills on that, but that's that. My question is, does it simply have to be this way? Is that what we can look forward to? And the answer is probably not. At some point, we're going to cure the big diseases. We're going to cure heart disease, stroke, diabetes, Parkinson's, MS, and more. I'm making this video today, and its associated post. There's a lot in that post. I encourage you to go there at rvacrossamerica.net/good news. I chose that because what I'm going to share with you really is good news. And it's going to be sharing information about a company that I encountered, I ran across, I met the executives, I met the top people at an event called FreedomFest. And I've had other posts related to that earlier in the month. It's now the middle of August. I guess my first post about it might have been at the end of July. This is a company doing research and is working through the process to get full FDA approval for treatments for heart disease, stroke, diabetes, Parkinson's, and more that may become actual cures. I'm sharing this with you because when I first heard the information, I got excited. They're on to something extraordinarily interesting. And what I'm doing in this video is I'm going to turn it over to an interview that I conducted with Dr. Jack Jacobs. He's the lead researcher with a company called Zhyttia. Then you're going to hear from a gentleman named Dan Montagno. I will tell you in the Jack Jacobs interview, he sounds better than I do. He was wearing the microphone. And with Dan Montagno, he's the CEO of the company. There will be a little bit of feedback because I was recording it from a bit of a distance, but it's still very listenable. And frankly, the information is important. The company is an American company. And what they've done is they've isolated a molecule, a protein, if you will, which is native to the human body, but can be introduced to treat the diseases that I've noted above earlier that the body won't do on its own. And it's very interesting what happens. And again, I'm going to let Jack Jacobs explain it. I'm not an MD. I'm going to let him explain all that. When you hear from Dan Montagno, again, he's the CEO of the company. He's frankly a man on a mission, and I met him and I spoke with him at length during the course of the 4 days that I was at FreedomFest. And I believe he's bordering, he's on the border or on the edge of accomplishing something amazing. In my post, and again, it's rvacrossamerica.net/good news, I share some additional information and also just how serious I am about what I saw and learned. If you go to the post, you'll see what I'm talking about. It's in the second half of the post after the interview. So with that, let's get right into the interview, and then hear from Dan Montano afterwards on the main stage at FreedomFest as he discusses his company and its future. Thank you. And again, I'm Alan with RVacrossamerica.net, and here we go with the interview. So we're here with Jack Jacobs, Dr. Jack Jacobs of Zhyttia Regenerative Medicine, which means, I understand, life in Ukrainian?
That is correct.
Outstanding. I was talking with one of your folks earlier today, and since this is going up on RVacrossamerica.net, my viewers know that I am a heart attack survivor.
Okay.
So when I heard about what you're doing and what this molecule you're going to tell people about does, I guess my reaction, well, pardon me, I'm from Jersey, was holy crap. This is a big deal. Jack, tell us a little bit about what you guys are up to.
Okay, well, you may become a patient of ours in the future.
I hope not, but...
We hope to be the alternative to stents and bypasses. So we are using a natural growth factor that stimulates new blood vessel growth in the heart. So if you have heart pain, angina, that means you have vessels that are blocked off. Our drug, when injected into the heart, can take that away. It can grow new blood vessels around blocked arteries, bring new blood perfusion into heart muscle, and help people who have heart disease.
So, as it was explained to me earlier, if I fall and cut my elbow, my body is going to release a chemical, a molecule that heals that area. And in the process of healing that area, it's creating new blood vessels?
Right. So when you cut yourself, your body releases our drug, the drug we're developing here, and that stimulates blood vessel formation, which in turn stimulates new skin, whatever your skin needs to heal, new nerves there, sweat glands, hair follicles, everything to regenerate normal skin. And whenever you need repair, this molecule's involved.
So when continuing with this mode of when you fall, that is a trauma to the body when
Correct.
You cut yourself. And that triggers the body to produce this molecule, which then builds the new blood vessels.
Correct.
In contrast, your company is currently under FDA trials, human trials.
That is right.
So you're pretty far along in the process.
Right.
And you're looking at addressing the root cause of Parkinson's, Alzheimer's, MS, ALS, stroke, and heart disease.
Right.
These are, like in my case, heart disease, it's not a trauma, it's more of a chronic development. So if I understand this correctly, the body is not triggered to produce this molecule, so it on its own is not going to go ahead and start producing new blood vessels, which your answer is basically to provide alternate routes for the blood to flow.
Correct. So on the surface, Parkinson's and heart disease might not seem related at all, but in fact, our hypothesis in these chronic, very chronic diseases is that there's a slow choking off of the blood vessels. And in Parkinson's, that affects one small area of the brain, and in your heart, it obviously affects other areas. We can take this growth factor that is released when you cut yourself and make large quantities of it and do what we call as pharmaceutical angiogenesis, or new blood vessel growth. So we're actually introducing that same growth factor into your body. We would inject it right into your heart. For Parkinson's, we would do an IV injection, and that gives a pharmaceutical dose of that growth factor, which can then stimulate new blood vessel growth where it's needed.
So it's targeted to the area that needs it.
Exactly. Nothing will happen in normal. If we injected it into your heart now, assuming your heart is now normal, nothing will happen. Only if the tissue needs a boost in its blood supply.
And from what I understand, the blood vessels that you're particularly good at rebuilding are the microvessels?
That is correct. The microvasculature, which are the small capillaries and the small arteries. And yeah, we're not going to grow a brand new coronary artery in your heart. We're going to get a whole meshwork of new microvessels in the areas that need it, that are ischemic or deprived of enough blood flow. So
for somebody like me, when I had the stents put into the LAD artery, that's not what you're targeting. The LAD is too big an artery?
We can, when we doing our clinical trial, we inject it near the blockage, so we would inject it near your large coronary artery, and we do see vessels kind of grow around and bypass that, but we also inject anywhere where there's ischemia in your heart. So we're kind of giving the heart the entire treatment, just not one stent. We would do maybe 10 or 20 injections into your heart.
And this becomes more permanent and less, well, my follow-up, I've been on platelet drugs now for several months. So that wouldn't be needed in this case.
We have patients that are 10 years out already. These are durable vessels, new vessels we're growing. They hang around for a while, so no, it's less follow-up, less cost for the patients.
Less cost is always a good thing.
Right.
How close are you to this actually receiving FDA approval and being a approved medical procedure? And I understand it's heart disease and Parkinson's you're going after first?
Yeah, our furthest projects along are the heart. We have phase 2 data there. We also have, which we haven't talked about, in wound healing, we have a diabetic foot ulcer indication. So again, that's a chronic ulcer that doesn't heal. We have phase 2 data in that indication as well. So they're the two furthest along, the heart and the foot ulcer. I'd say 2 years. We're looking at, hopefully, approval.
This is exciting.
We think we got something here.
Are there other companies that represent your competition, or do you have a lock on this particular space?
There's certainly other companies that are looking at this molecule, but with other indications. We know some people are looking in the ear, healing punctured eardrums. Another company's looking in the eye for eye disorders, but we think we're ahead of the pack in the terms of the indications we're looking at, especially in the brain. No one's doing anything with Parkinson's, ALS, or Alzheimer's as we're doing.
Now, I also understand, maybe it's not this molecule, but your company has a dye that can be injected so that when somebody is experiencing pre-heart attack pains, you can actually go ahead and diagnose or identify?
Yeah, that's not our diagnostic. That belongs to another company. But what it can do is it goes into areas in the heart that are ischemic, that are lacking blood flow, that need more oxygen, that might benefit from our treatment. So in a preventative way, we can go in there, like with you, if we had given you that dye, we could have seen areas in your heart that maybe were underperfused. We could treat those before you have a heart attack.
Is that well known by physicians now, or?
No, it is not. So our drug is pretty much under the radar at the moment. I mean, we've been on ABC News, but most cardiologists would not hear of this until maybe it's in a phase 3 or close to approval.
Well, I got to tell you, I'm glad I'm here at FreedomFest.
Okay.
Part of freedom is staying alive.
I agree. Can't be free if you're not alive.
No. Your freedom is severely limited if you've crossed to the other realm, at least from a physical standpoint, as I understand it. So this is fascinating stuff.
Yeah.
And I look forward to learning more about it.
Good. We tell all our patients exercise is the most important, whether you have Parkinson's or whether you have heart disease. So you keep up your skiing, and hopefully we won't see you in the future.
Yeah. I'm hoping to not need your services, but it's good to know that you may very well be there if needed.
Right.
And a couple of years down the road, I mean, that's around the corner.
Yeah. Follow us. You know, we actually we're taking one of the companies public, so if you don't want to be a patient of ours, maybe you can follow us in other ways.
And do you have a web presence, website?
Yep, we do. We have a Zhyttia website. And
spelled as the name, as
right.
the company name is.
Right, and that'll give you also some of the other financial information if you're interested in that.
And in the post, folks, that follows this video or is associated with this video, you'll find a link to the company because I'm not even going to read off the spelling of the name. It's just going to throw you. So just look for a link. It'll be at rvcrossamerica.net / let's call this one Good News.
Good News.
RVcrossamerica.net / Good News.
Yeah. And at that site, we have some video presentations on Parkinson's, some of the other medical indications if the viewers are interested in getting more information.
Well, we're all not getting younger.
Right.
So this is certainly something I think people want to be aware of. And, hey, it could be a lifesaver.
We hope so.
Excellent. Doctor, thank you for your time today. And I look forward to hearing more about the FDA approving your drug and going from there.
Okay. Follow us. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Now, our next panelist, he's got something that's absolutely amazing. So, Dan Matano, and I'm going to try to pronounce this right. It's Zhyttia. That's the last time I'm going to say that. It's the Ukrainian symbol for life for his logo, and it's the Ukrainian name. He'll probably explain a little bit about that. But let me ask you this. How many of you know somebody who's had heart disease? How many know somebody who's had diabetes? How about Parkinson's? You know, these are some of the most devastating things. And as a marketer, when I see something that's a new technological breakthrough, I get so excited. And that's one of these new breakthroughs, using a new therapy to be able to solve these health problems. So let me ask you, how does your therapy work? What makes your company having a product for these different diseases? What is it? How does it apply?
Well, first of all, half the people in this room are going to die from a disease which is a lack of blood flow to a tissue or organ. Our molecule triggers the body's natural process called angiogenesis, growing new blood vessels. So in human trials, we've done 4, 2 under FDA, we have grown new blood vessels in the human hearts after the injection. To heal diabetic foot ulcers, we put the drug on the outer perimeter, and because it provides new blood generation, diabetic foot ulcers heal, which would not be before.
Now, just so you know, if that's of interest to you, if you go to his exhibit booth, he's got a video that actually shows that happening. It's amazing. Go ahead.
So the situation is, everybody in the room immediately thinks that this is some magic that comes out of something. Everybody in this room has used our molecule 10,000 times in your life. When you were 10 years old and you were running down the street and you tripped and you landed and you tore your elbow, you tore off skin, you ruptured blood vessels, blood was coming out. You could feel the tingling, you destroyed nerves. Your body made this molecule, fibroblast growth factor 6, FGF1. That molecule was your body's way through trauma to signal to regenerate. You grew new blood vessels, new skin, new nerves, because this molecule ordered your body to regenerate. The diseases we're dealing with are not diseases of trauma. They're diseases of chronic neglect. So if people have blood vessels clogged in their heart, there is no trauma for the body to make the blood vessels and grow, trauma to grow vessels. We're now going to the heart. We have a clinical trial at the FDA, IND file for Parkinson's disease. Come to our presentation tomorrow at 11 a.m. You can see the monkeys were given Parkinson's. After they were dosed with our molecule, they returned almost back to normal. Come see the part where we think aging is a vascular disease of the brain. Tomorrow the presentation is the in-depth. And if you want to open your mind to the miracle of your body and what may be the #1 cause of you extending your life 30 years, please come tomorrow at 11 a.m. Dr. Jacobs, my nice partner, will be giving the presentation.
So, Dan, let me ask you this. There's two things that are going on with your company and why you're here. One is to raise capital, and the second, to find people who would be that would have these three health problems, so that they could see what the potential is down the road. Is that correct?
Yes and no.
Okay.
We already have a commitment from an investment banking firm, very highly regarded. They've done $14 billion in biotech IPOs, who's committed to do an IPO at $10 a share. We're doing a pre-IPO placement at $2. But unlike most people, we don't want your money. Now, we'll take it, don't you? The point is, if you can't bring more to the party than that, we're not interested in you. If I have a choice between a lazy investor or somebody who's going to be an active investor, one who's going to spread the word, we take that. We have billionaires who have Parkinson's disease who will write all the checks I want. They don't help you qualify for the New York Stock Exchange. They don't help you contact the FDA. We have one lady in Phoenix. She has Parkinson's disease. She belongs to a church of 4,000 people. She's invested with us in the pre-IPO. She's also got everybody convinced in that church if they don't invest in the IPO, they're going to hell. I